Super excited today to be here with our great clients, Doug and Cassie. Welcome, guys. You're calling in today from your new residence in your new location in Southern California, beautiful sunny Southern California, and we're going to talk today about how you guys bought a house a couple of years ago. We sold you a house a few years ago, and then things changed and you're like, hey, we want to make a move. We want to go to Southern California. And we're like, how do we do that? And so we're going to, talk about that a little bit today and get into the fact that you guys did it. You executed, you went in and you did it and you made it all happen. And now here you are on the other side, which is tremendous. Is there anything that you want to throw in before we jump into the mix, or anything to say about anybody who might be considering doing this same thing themselves?
Well, it's possible. Don't be scared. We had certain situation that kind of led us to leave the Bay Area, which is scary, but and it's a big move, but we had a great team, you guys, that helped us with that. And it's definitely possible. I mean, there's some things you got to think through, but it's, if it feels right, you should go for it.
I think
cool.
Being patient was a big one. We just we were in a rush, but we had to be patient to find the right house and let the timeline play itself out.
Mm-hmm.
And in all the kind of strategies that are available to do this, we met, I think it was during our annual review. Was it when we were doing our annual review where we were it kind of coincided with, hey, we're kind of thinking about this. And that's where we kind of got talking, and we really went through like the different strategies that were available. And it kind of became evident that it was really important. And this is a fear a lot of people have, I think, is nobody really wants to sell the house they live in right now first and not have anywhere to go to. So it became evident that was going to have to be the first step. There was going to have to be the new house found, and then the timeframes that kicked off of that kind of would go from there, right? So. And then we got you introduced to somebody we know, like, and trust down in the area that you're working with. And I think that worked out great. Was that that a good success?
We wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and you did it from the start of that process. I think once you started kind of looking for the house down there, it was probably maybe a 60-day process.
That sounds about right.
We had casually been looking just online in the area and trying to figure out like where we wanted to move. So we had that kind of figured out as we started the actual process of watching the market to see what's coming on, because we had a very specific list of wants and we weren't going to budge on them. And so, I mean, in the end, it all worked out, and we found the house down here, which then kicked off the process, of selling our first home.
So, and that was kind of the way we'd set it up. As soon as you got that into contract down there, it was like light switches on, all systems kind of go up here. And we kind of started getting prepped and ready to go. Now, we did have a little bit more wind in our sail, because we did happen to have some buyers who were introduced to us by some very good clients who were actually you guys before you actually were selling. And we've been working with these clients trying to find something for them. And we're like, hey guys, hold on a second. We have somebody who's who lives in a gray house, and I think their house would work really well for you. So we were able to actually off market put together a situation where we put some new buyers into your property. So that allowed us to move up the timeframes by a good 30 days, which was tremendous. So
definitely helped take some of the stress away. And I know they had been looking, and I think it really didn't cross our minds immediately of like, well, we're moving, you're looking, we have a house.
Yeah.
I think once we all made that connection, it kind of just fell into place really nicely for everybody.
It was great. And then it allowed to be able to work out times and stuff. Like, what was the process of coordinating the close on Southern California where you are now, and kind of getting yourself out of Northern California and getting yourself in there? And that seems like a super stressful kind of a process. Kind of how did that kind of roll out, and what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, so we kind of knew the close date here, right? Or we knew a close date was approaching in Southern California, and we worked backwards from there. And because, I mean, I think we got lucky that it was our friends, but also, I mean, we wrote it into the contract that we had to maintain our flexibility in terms of staying in the Bay, in the house in the Bay, so we knew that we would close down here and be able to move in. The prior owners here also, they were moving to Austin, Texas, and so they had the same deal where they had to make sure that they had a place to live while they closed on their new place. And so it kind of all cascaded down, and it was just a mutual understanding between everyone, like, hey, we're all going to try to do what's best for the next person, but all of us need a place to live in the meantime.
Yeah.
It kind of dominoed down, and it worked out, I think, really nicely.
And really, like, that was something that with our first townhome that we bought with you guys, the rent back, we had never heard of this. It was something that you introduced us to and educated us that it's a thing. And we ended up doing it again for this house, like Doug was just saying. So that worked out nicely. And then we ended up not even needing, we had a 30-day rent back for the house we sold to our friends. We didn't need the whole time, and it ended up working out really great that we left sooner than we thought, but it gave them even more time to slowly move in and do some projects they wanted. And so I think it all worked out for everyone in the end.
Yeah.
It all worked out. And then the movers came, and there was one period where your bed was out of your house up here and it was on its way to Southern California. And so that night you slept on an air mattress, I presume, right? Yeah. So
wanted to be bright and early for the movers, so we decided, air bed.
Yeah, excellent. So and then, you know, once basically you were able to get that process of the Southern California home closed, there really was only maybe a 30-day period of overlap between owning two properties and stuff. So it didn't you never ended up with a huge burden of having two properties for a long period of time.
Right.
Yeah, which is great. And then once it closed in Northern California, what was that you still had to get settled and all that stuff. You're only 30 days into your new place at that point, but was that a big sense of relief? Was that we did it, a sense of accomplishment?
Definitely, it was like a good sense of relief. I think actually, like, when we drove down to Southern California, even though we hadn't closed, we knew like everything was like in such good hands with you guys that, like, in a way we already felt like we're done, even though we weren't. And like legally and everything happened on the close date, but that was like a great sense of like we did it. We didn't have that stress of like two homes and finding, that I think that was our biggest worry of like, if we buy a house and then we can't sell the other one. But, the way everything was working out in the market and talking with you guys and advising us, like it wasn't a fear. Excuse me. It didn't need to be.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. So is there anything that you would say about the process that you didn't realize that you would, make sure that somebody else who's thinking about doing it should just, hey, think about this?
I don't think, I think the only hiccup we had was that our mortgage was transferred, out of our control, right? As we were trying to close.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't close because we didn't know where our mortgage was. Which
sounds like the craziest thing in the world, but to give a little bit of background on that, basically mortgages get sold by mortgage companies all the time. And right in the middle of all of this process, your mortgage company sold your mortgage to another mortgage company. And there was a 5-day period there where we just had no idea where that, so because we needed to get a payoff to be able to pay off the loan to be done with it. So yeah, that not something that would come up very often, but hey, we were able to figure it out and navigate it, and it all worked out. It all worked out.
The only thing too is that like we didn't really realize how many options that there would be. So having that even like initial conversation when we were like exploring the idea with you was really helpful for us to see like, oh, there are some options here. This is doable. So that was a big learning curve.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Haley, what I'm hogging the mic here. So
no, I was gonna say like something you didn't realize, like always ask your friends if they're looking to buy, you know, because maybe they want to buy your place. You never know. No, I mean, I think that this process can be really overwhelming to some first-time sellers, right? Second-time buyers. And so just understanding the different pathways and that everyone has a different one that will work for them. But there's just knowing all of your options, I think, is really important. So you outline that wonderfully. And we're sad to see you go, you know, like we loved having you here. So, and we were lucky to do a few transactions together.
Yeah. But I have to say, you do have an amazing house in Southern California, so congratulations. Yeah, I'll come through in my Eurovan. Do you think the neighbors don't mind if I pop the tent on the roof of my Eurovan outside your house?
We can make it work. We have a spare bedroom, so it'll be okay.
There you go.
Yeah, good. Cool. Well, that was awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure working with you guys, and congratulations.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.